The A in LGBTQIA+ stands for asexuality. Known as ace, those who identify have little to no feelings of sexual desire, but may still desire an emotionally intimate relationship. And within that asexual spectrum are many different intersecting identities and preferences.
A common myth amongst a lot of folks is that asexuality is a monolith. It's one singular thing, when in fact it actually captures a broad range of experience about how folks interact with their sexuality in a way that's very non-normative.
Writer and ace activist Justin Ancheta says he sometimes feels hurt coming out to people who don't grasp his sexuality. In fact, members of the ace community sometimes feel left out of the greater LGBTQIA+ community.
A lot of people still think that the A in LGBTQIA stands for ally. It's like, nice, but no, it doesn't.
One obstacle faced by the community is a lack of education and representation of asexuality. Actor Hadley Abrams says you don't often see asexuality represented in media and film, and if you do, it's often in a broad comedic or allegorical context, as is often the case in science fiction and fantasy.
They're usually non-human characters, like a lot of... It's usually in sci-fi, and usually queer stories fit better in sci-fi or fantasy because it's not real. But a lot of the time it's they're robots or aliens or vaguely humanoid things that of course they don't have a sex drive because they're not people.
The Ace Couple podcast co-host, Courtney Lane, says one of the first times she saw asexual representation was on an episode of the TV show House. But the depiction portrayed the orientation as a medical condition that required fixing.
I have a patient who's asexual.
She a giant pool of algae?
It's a valid sexual orientation, according to this article at least.
$100 says I can find a medical reason why she doesn't want to have sex.
Now I was very concerned that people were going to use this and the combination of my own illnesses to just decredit this very important part of myself. So that was not excellent. Luckily, we've had a few better portrayals of asexuality since then. But as sort of the first really huge, House was a big show at the time. There were millions and millions of people who saw it on the day it aired.
Many ace individuals can appreciate the aesthetic value of an attractive actor or individual. Writer and budding tech professional Evan Kane says sex scenes in movies or TV are akin to advertisements to see a certain celebrity nude or semi-nude.
Ooh, you get to see Scarlett Johansson semi-naked. Ooh, you get to see Chris Hemsworth. Okay, that one I will admit. Chris Hemsworth, especially the new Thor preview, I'm going oh, hello.
Crushes are perhaps rarer, but not impossible.
Part of it is based on his portrayal on the screen, and that on at some length is that it's a portrayal with Thor. It's a portrayal of somebody who cares.
Ultimately, asexuality comes down to forming emotional bonds without the focus on sex, no matter how much sex is prevalent in our culture.
The message I would tell to other folks going through that same journey as me is you are valid, you are seen, and you are loved as a part of the community.
With files from Catherine Manny and Adam Toy, Alexia Kapralos, Global News.